Enjoy happy hour every Monday through Friday and all day every Sunday. Live from Rider University, I'm Connor Florendo.
And it's out of here! And 107.7 The Bronx wins again with the best damn sports report. To never miss a hit like that one, find it all at 1077thebronx.com/best damn sports report. And as the Bronx rounds home plate, we're getting back to the biggest hits and best variety on 107.7 The Bronx.
1077 The Bronx and 1077thebronx.com, winner of 3 2026 Intercollegiate Broadcasting System Media Awards for Best On-Air Pledge Drive for our first ever radiothon, Best Giveaway for Wake Up Riders Morning Bagel Run and Jewelry Spree, and Best Station Pro Poster by Jake Goebel for Scream Screen. This is Nolan McCaffrey, and this is High Stakes on this 28th day of March, 9:04 p.m. Got the MLB season underway this past week. Got some March Madness. Got Elite 8 games today and tomorrow after a really good round of 16 the past couple days. NBA, NHL playoffs right around the corner a couple weeks from now. And obviously the NFL draft about a month away from it. But obviously a huge draft for the two New York teams. Jets have the second pick, Giants have the 5th pick. We'll see what they do with those two selections. We'll talk about a lot about the draft in the next upcoming weeks because, for the Jets, quickly on the draft, for the Jets, you obviously have the defensive players from Texas Tech, Miami, and Ohio State, but you're starting to see with Mendoza, who everyone thought was the clear number one. You're starting to see some people have second thoughts about that, and maybe the Raiders might want to go in a different direction, and maybe Mendoza will be there for the taking for the Jets at the second spot in the draft. But we'll get into that in the next couple of weeks, and we'll break all that down for the Jets, Giants, and Eagles. All three of those teams. But let's first start out with some MLB opening day, kind of opening week action. The Yankees 2-0 right now, and they're playing the San Francisco Giants. They're leading 3-1 in the 6th inning. The Giants are probably happy they at least got a run this weekend. I mean, they were scoreless for the first 20 innings of the series against the Yankees. The Mets get a great walk-off win this afternoon. Not a really well played game. I guess that's what you get when you have games in winter like conditions. I mean, 40 degrees when it really feels like 30 degrees, but hey, it is what it is. Got to get a nice win. The Phillies got a really nice opening day win. Christopher Sanchez was terrific. Fell behind in this game the first couple innings. Was down 3-0. Had a crazy rally in the 9th. I mean, the first baseman, I forgot his name, but he dropped the ball in foul territory, and the Phillies were able to then get a couple more hits to tie the game, but they ended up losing the game in extra innings 5-4. And some other, I got to say the rookie class so far, the rookies that have been playing in the first couple games have been really impressive. Obviously, Carson Bench with a big home run on Thursday. Justin Crawford has looked pretty nice as well. And just around the league, I mean, they've been absolutely terrific. But let's get into the Yankees first. They opened the season on Wednesday night on Netflix, and what a disgrace that broadcast was. I mean, let's just be honest here. I mean, I understand it's their first game, their first broadcast and all that, but their production was absolutely terrible. I mean, you see Rafael Devers, it looked like he was on a green screen when, he was batting in the first inning. The whole stuff, all the things pregame, it's like, I don't really think all that is very necessary in my estimation. I mean, that one guy just screaming at the top of his lungs, and it's like, can we just play baseball? I don't know. Whatever. But getting to the game, though, the Yankees absolutely destroyed Logan Webb. Really attacking on the first pitch on that game on Wednesday night. They were absolutely terrific, scored 7 runs. And Max Fried, was his typical Max Fried self. I mean, was absolutely tremendous. And then obviously yesterday, Cam Schlittler, Schlittler, that's a big X factor for the Yankees. Yeah, he obviously pitched great last year, and in the playoffs against the Boston Red Sox, put together one of the great performances you'll ever see. And, obviously he's on a pitch, kind of a little bit of a pitch limit early in the season, but he was terrific yesterday as well. And listen, with the Yankees, and I've said this before, I was with on a show last night, and I said that the Yankees right now are the class of the American League, and if they get Rodon and Cole back pitching to their normal selves, to me they're the overwhelming favorite in the American League. And with that pitching staff, I think that's easily the best pitching staff in baseball. Fried, we know what Fried is. Schlittler looks to be one of the best. As I'm taking off my my jacket here. It's so hot in this studio. But Fried, again, tremendous. Schlittler, you're looking at it like, man, can this guy really be the next kind of ace to lead the Yankees into the next couple years? And obviously Cole. I mean, what are you going to get with Cole when he comes back? I don't know. Will he be his Cy Young self like he was a couple years ago? Probably not. But the thing about Cole is that that he's going to be big in the big spot, and that's what the Yankees desperately need in October. And let's be honest here, the rotation for the Yankees, that's going to be their strength all year. Their lineup is good. Judge, struck out 4 times in the first game on Wednesday. Did have a big home run yesterday, which gave him a 2-0 lead. Again, this is not Murderer's Row. This is not the Baby Bombers kind of lineup in the 90s. It's not, but it's a solid lineup, and you're gonna. The thing is, we're going to come down for the Yankees. We know they're going to win a lot of games in the regular season. We know that. They're going to be at the top or near the top of their division and of their league. It's going to come down to the playoffs. They need to get those big hits in the playoffs that they have not gotten historically in the past, 10, 15 years. They just haven't gotten it. If they could get those big hits, they're going to be successful in the playoffs. But that's many months away from, and many shows away from that point. For the time being, they're in a good spot, 2-0, about looking like it's going to be 3-0 right now, as they're beating the Giants 3-1, top of the 7th inning. So if you're a Yankee fan, you got to be very, very happy. Moving over to the Mets here, doing a kind of just talking about every local team here. The Mets, listen, had a great opening day win. Got Skeens out of there in the first inning. Helped out by O'Neal Cruz. Just playing terribly in center field. But I was very happy to see how they performed on Thursday. Freddie Peralta, who got the start for the Mets. He wasn't his typical self. But the thing is with Freddie, the home run in the first inning was kind of lucky. Let's just be honest here. It was kind of a wind-aided home run. But even though he did not have his best stuff, he was just missing pitches that he usually will hit in the strike zone. So he was not his typical self. But the one thing, and this is what great pitchers do, even though he didn't have his best stuff, he still managed the game and gave you 5 quality innings. That was a big problem the Mets had last year, where their starters gave them no length. It didn't matter if they were pitching well, if they were not pitching well. Their starters gave them no length, especially towards the latter part of the season. And what that does is that also, not only are you not getting any length out of your starter, that's killing your bullpen, because your bullpen now has to cover 6-7 innings of the game, use 3 to 4 or maybe 5 different relief pitchers. That's gonna kill you as we get into later in the season. But Peralta, give kudos to him. Even though he didn't have his best stuff, he still found a way to give you 5 innings. And probably one of, he was at about 80 pitches when Mendoza took him out, and I was fine with it. Listen, it's first game of the season on March, 26th. I mean, let's be honest here. We do not need Peralta pushing himself at this early in the season. If this is a game in June, July, maybe a little different. You might want to see if you could go 6 innings, maybe pitch into the 7th inning. But in the first game of the season, I was fine with Mendoza taking him out. So, but all in all, opening day was a successful day for the Mets. This afternoon, listen, it was a really frustrating game. Yeah, it really reminded me of last year's team. It really did. I mean, just, the lack of the big hit, and getting unlucky, because last year's team got a little unlucky at certain instances also. Like Beatty in the bottom of the 9th inning, looks like he has the game-winning hit, and the first baseman, snatches it out of the sky and doubles up. I believe Polanco was at second base. And listen, they didn't get the big hit. Bottom of the 10th inning, Terrence gets the RBI single to tie it, and you got Lindor, Soto, and Bichette with no outs, bases loaded, only need 1 run to win it, and they don't come through. And it's like, oh my goodness, it's like deja vu. I mean, really, man, I saw this kind of game. I saw this kind of game, just missed opportunity after missed opportunity. I saw that game like 10, 15 times last year. But the difference is, last year we would have lost that game. This year, we won the second game of the season with all those circumstances with Robert. And, listen, bottom line on Luis Robert, we know the talent this guy has. He did not fulfill it in Chicago, but part of that is, let's be honest, he was playing for the Chicago White Sox. How many people can really be successful when you're surrounded by, not even mediocrity, because mediocrity is too generous to give the White Sox. Absolute dysfunction is really the right word for that organization. Let's be honest, like, you can't expect a player, especially a young player, to rise above all that. It come to the Mets, and listen, he was terrific on opening day. That 10-pitch at bat against Skeens had 2 RBI singles in the game on Thursday, and then obviously tonight, the big walk-off home run, down by a run, 2-1, bottom of the 11th inning, and obviously Robert was able to send one to the seats to win it 4-2. Listen, if you could get a big season out of Robert, because you saw in 2023 when he hit 38 home runs and was one of the best outfielders in the American League, we know that kind of potential is in there. If you can get it out of Robert this season, have an all-star level campaign, that's just going to deepen this lineup even more. Listen, the Mets didn't hit well today, but part of that, and I knew this kind of going in, you're not going to score many runs in this weather. Let's just call it what it is. I mean, baseball's not meant to be played in this weather. I mean, I can't believe I saw as many people as I saw today at the game. I mean, I don't know. Actually, that's a good question. Let me see how many people they announced at the game today. I would guess, and it's really, when they announce how many people came, it's more of how many people bought tickets. It's not how many people were actually in the ballpark, but let's see. They announced 37,000 people on Saturday. Now it's 41,000 on opening day. I don't know if there was that many people there, especially 10th, 11th inning. I mean, there were probably like 10,000 people in the ballpark. I'm not saying there wasn't 30,000 at one point, but I don't think it was all 37,000. But kudos to the people that were actually there, because I mean I'll be honest with you. I get going opening day. I understand it. It's the first game. We all get that. But I don't know why you would go to the second game of the season on March 28th. I mean, like, when you're picking, like number one, if you thought like, oh, let's go to the game, and you make the decision today to get the tickets, I mean, what are you doing? I mean, it's 40 degrees out. I understand if you got it for Christmas, like these tickets for Christmas, and it's like 4 months in advance, and you're like, oh man, I gotta go anyway. But I mean, seriously, I don't know, of all the games that you could go to throughout the whole entire season, why March 28th is the game you would go to? I don't know, but hey, you do you. And listen, if you actually stayed all 11 innings, I mean, you're a true fan. I mean, I probably would have stayed all 11 innings, I'll be honest with you, but I mean, That's not what everyone would do, and I totally understand why. But anyway, we kind of got sidetracked there. But good win for the Mets. Obviously it was not a well played game by them, but that's the thing. I say this all the time. Even though this game you can chalk it up to, it's terrible weather conditions, just the second game of the season, and I get that to a certain extent. But these games are important because these games count as much as the stretch run in September, final 2 weeks of the year. The Mets last year missed the playoffs by one game. By one game. So don't tell me that these games aren't important. You got to win these games. You're not going to win every game, obviously, but there's you have to get off to a good start, especially for Mendoza and this Met team coming off the year that they had last year. They got to get off to a good start. And right now they're 2-0. They look to get the sweep tomorrow and then head over to St. Louis this upcoming week. Now let's get over to the Phillies here. Opening day, Christopher Sanchez, which is absolutely tremendous. And, he's really proven himself. He got the contract extension a couple days ago. He's really proven himself to be, one of the best pitchers in the National League. He was just absolutely terrific on Thursday. 6 innings, only 3 hits, 10 strikeouts, no runs, obviously. He was tremendous. Phillies, 2-run home run from Schwarber in the first inning. You see Bohm get a big opposite field home run, 3-run shot to make it 5-0. Rangers do make it a little closer in the ninth, scoring 3 runs, but Duran comes in able to hold off the Rangers bats. They get the win 5-3, and then today lose a game 5-4. Seager had a first inning home run. Andrew McCutchen had a good game. Listen. It's going to come down to the Phillies. We know they're a good team. I'm a little concerned about their lineup. I will say that. You listen, Turner, and I've been a little bit of a Turner. I'm not going to say listen, I think the way some Philadelphia fans talk about him, I think it's a little too harshly, but I understand that you want a little more. I understand he won the batting title last year, but he hit 304. He didn't hit 330. He hit 304, and a lot of those are just singles. And I get singles count, but when you're paying a guy $300 million, I need to see some doubles. I need to see some home runs that really impact the game. You see Turner, he's a good player, but I don't know if he truly impacts the game as much as his contract says he does. But anyway, listen, he's a good player, and we know what Schwarber can do. Harper, listen, he was 1 for 5 today, and I sense that there's a little bit, not resentment, but a little bit of just some, not anxiousness, but it's just the relationship I feel with the Philadelphia fan and Harper. It's just a little weird right now. It just something seems a little off with Harper, with maybe some of the fans, but especially the organization. Just something seems a little off right now. Harper's still a good player. Is he the player that he once was? Probably not. But he's still a solid player. But listen, you can talk about Turner, you can talk about Harper. They're not the players that they once were. They're good players. The problem I see with the Philadelphia lineup is just after the first 3, Bohm, I know, had the big 3-run home run on Thursday, but he's Alec Bohm. With all due respect, he's okay, but we know what Alec Bohm is. He's a mostly singles hitter. He can hit some doubles. He's not really a home run bat, and he's a guy hitting cleanup in your order. Bryson Stott. I'm sorry, I need to see some big time results from Bryson Stott. I'm not saying he's a terrible player, but offensively, he leaves a lot to be desired. Mundo Sosa, Adolis Garcia, that was really their prize free agent addition. That's why I was a little concerned with the Phillies. They didn't really do anything to address their lineup, in my opinion, in the offseason. I understand you could say, there's new faces here. Okay, yeah, there's some new faces here. You got Justin Crawford, and he's looked okay, but he's a rookie, But at the end of the day, yeah, there's some new faces in this Phillies order, but to me, they're not upgrades. What is Adolis Garcia? I think Adolis Garcia is going to put up the same numbers to what Max Kepler gave the Phillies last season, which was underwhelming. Like, if you think Adolis Garcia is just going to magically turn back into the 2023 version, I mean, maybe he could, but, it's not, the difference is with Robert and Garcia is Robert, first of all, he's younger. He's 5 years younger. And, he had at least the excuse of, I'm playing for the Chicago White Sox. Adolis Garcia was on the World Series champions when he was great, but he was on the Rangers, who are still a pretty good organization, pretty good team. Like, he doesn't have an excuse to be all that bad. And you get JT Realmuto, which was a panic sign by Dombrowski when Bichette, kind of left them at the altar this offseason. You still have Brandon Marsh. I mean, haven't we seen enough of Brandon Marsh? I'm sorry. It's been 5 years of Brandon Marsh on the Phillies. I'm sorry. He's like your everyday left fielder. I mean, I'm sorry. Is it crazy for me to say, hey, can we get an upgrade over Brandon Marsh? So listen, we know the Phillies are going to be pretty good, but I'm a little concerned about them. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little concerned about them. Their rotation's going to be pretty good, especially when we get Wheeler back. Nola pitched okay today. You got Jesus Luzardo. You got him on an extension. But I just think there's a lot to be desired on this offense. Once you get past the first three, with all their problems, and I get they have some problems, that first three, they're good players. But once you get past the first three, I mean, who on this lineup is scaring you? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. We'll see what happens with the Phillies. But if I'm a Philly fan, I'm not concerned. It's not really they lost this game. I'd be saying this if they won this game. I'm just a little... we know their pitching rotation is going to be good, and that's kind of what's going to carry them. It's just going to come down to, is their offense good enough? And I'm really, to be honest with you, don't know if it is. But we'll see. Again, we'll talk more about it as the season goes on. The Phillies will play tomorrow against the Rangers, hoping to win the series over Texas. Spring break is finally here, and so is 107.7 The Bronx Excellent Egg Hunt. Join the Bronx on the campus mall on Tuesday, March 31st at 11 a.m. to experience the event we won Best Giveaway for at the 2025 IBS Media Awards. There are 10,000 eggs, 20,000 pieces of candy, and a chance to win almost $40,000 in prizes, including our biggest and most iconic prizes, a Royal Caribbean cruise to the Bahamas provided by Josh Harry Travel, and a 1.77 carat diamond pendant from Peroni's Hidden Treasures. For the deets, including everything to do and eat, go to 1077thebronx.com/egghunt. We'll be back with more high stakes after these underwriting announcements on your 3-time 2026 Intercollegiate Broadcasting Systems Media Award winner, 1077 The Bronx.
Eggs. You like them, you love them, unless they make you fart, in which case you probably eat them anyway. They're a great source of protein.
Serves as a great spot for sports fans when you take a seat at the bar or at a table and take advantage of some discounted food and drink prices on game days. Pennytown Pub is open 4 to 9 p.m. Sunday through Thursday and 4 to 10 p.m. every Friday and Saturday. The craft beer on tap is always rotating and the food is always hot at the Pennytown Pub in Pennington. To read the menu, view hours, and to check out the weekly specials, it's getforky.com. Hurry up, the food is getting cold.
107 is the broadcast. Very exciting news. Our new video stream is officially live. Now you can listen to the Bronc on air, online, and on the app now. And on app now to watch your favorite student shows on the Bronx YouTube channel and Facebook at 1077 The Bronx, including Ryder Rinks, O Dog Garden Salad, A Random After Party, Beyond the Score, and now Wake Up Ryder. Keep it tuned to the Bronx to listen and now watch your favorite student shows. Welcome back to High Stakes on your 5-time National Association of Broadcasters Marconi Radio Award nominated station 1077 The Bronx. Got a little caught up there in the announcements, but hey, we just move on. And also, excellent egg hunt Tuesday. If you want to pop out to that, I believe it's 11 to 2. So I know I'm excited for that, helping out this year. So it's going to be a lot of fun. But anyway, let's get back to what we're going to talk about. Let's talk a little bit about some March Madness as we get into the Elite Eight. Today we had some Elite Eight games. Illinois, number 3 seed, defeated Iowa. And it's funny about Iowa. Iowa was kind of the Cinderella, you could say, in the tournament. Even though there wasn't many Cinderellas, Iowa, kind of the 9 seed, got some upset wins. I believe they beat, did they beat Florida? I forgot, but they were kind of the underdog. But, Illinois, who got a nice win against Houston, I believe on Thursday, they're going to the Final Four. So congratulations to them. They won 71 to 59. And then right now, number 1 seed Arizona and number 2 seed Purdue playing in the Elite Eight. Purdue got the great tip in from Ren on Thursday to advance to the Elite Eight over Texas. Right now, the score is 27-27. Arizona, I was incredibly impressed by their performance against Arkansas. I had Arkansas go into the Final Four, and Arizona absolutely destroyed them, 109 to 88. I mean, they played offense at a level that I don't see from a college team often. I mean, they shot 63% from the field and only shot 8 3-pointers. I mean, think about that. They were 5 of 8 from three-point land, 62%, which is just a stupid 3-point percentage, but only shot 8 shots from behind the arc. But 37 of 58 for 63.8% shooting. They were absolutely tremendous. That's a team that you do not want to see if they get to the Final Four. They're that good. Tomorrow at 2:15, we got Michigan taking on Tennessee. Tennessee with a very nice win against Iowa State yesterday, 75-62. And obviously Michigan, number 1 seed. They were my pick to make it to the national championship game. They've been absolutely tremendous. And they got a nice win over Alabama. And Alabama's a good team. That's a good team. And they beat them 90-77 yesterday. This is going to be a good game tomorrow, Tennessee, Michigan. I mean, I lean towards Michigan. I do, because I think they just have better athletes. But, I would not be surprised if Tennessee could get the win. These two teams, even though Tennessee's a 6 seed, they're very evenly matched. I would not be surprised if either one of them won this game. And then obviously the big game, and this is, talk about marquee matchups. Got UConn, who's the number 2 seed in that region, against number 1 Duke. And Duke had a very, very gutsy win against St. John's yesterday, 80-75. Boozer was terrific. And Evans for Duke was absolutely tremendous as well. 25 points on 10 of 15 shooting, 4 of 8 from 3-point land. St. John's, so they had a great season. They did. Patino has really changed that program. I think he's going to come back for another year. We'll see about that. Zuby Zubi Ekafor. He had a terrific career. Yesterday was the final game of his career, ending it out on a pretty sour note, but had a terrific season. And again, and they kind of got a little. They were hurt a lot by their positioning. I mean, they were not a 5 seed. I think the NCAA kind of hurt them in that way. I mean, they were not a 5 seed. I mean, they beat UConn in the Big East championship game. They won the Big East regular season. To me, I think they deserved a little better than the 5 seed. And, first round is first round, but in the second round, they had to play Kansas. And that was a game that came right down to the wire. Right down to the wire. And then you got to play Duke, number 1 seed. I mean, that's a tough road. They did all they could, but they just weren't good enough to beat Duke for the full 40 minutes. And then UConn against a really good game yesterday against Michigan State with Tom Izzo and those guys. UConn had a big lead early on. It looked like, oh, wow, they're going to blow this team out. They were up 19 points. They were playing great defensively. Michigan State, listen, they came back and they made it more than a game. They took the lead with a couple minutes left in the second half, but UConn rallies the troops. They get the 67-63 win. Terrace Reed, who's going to be so important tomorrow against the likes of Boozer and Ekafor and Evans of the Duke Blue Devils. We obviously know Terrace Reed had a terrific game against Furman in the first round, 31 points, 27 rebounds. Yesterday, he had 20 points, but I was a little disappointed in him a little bit. He was getting a shot blocked at the rim on numerous occasions. I felt he could have inserted himself a little more. He needs to do, even though he had a very good game, 20 points is 20 points. But I would like to see more than 5 rebounds. The one thing that hurt the Huskies a lot was the offensive rebound total. Michigan State absolutely destroyed them on the glass. That has to change, obviously. And Terrace Reed is going to be the most important player in the game tomorrow because, St. John's could not stop Boozer, especially when it mattered most. They're going to need their big guy to be dominant. And obviously, I like what I saw out of Solo Ball. 12 points, but was hitting some key 3-pointers. Solo Ball also was on the verge of being unplayable. I mean, the game against UCLA last Sunday, Hurley didn't really even play him in the second half. It was good to see him play 32 minutes and made some key buckets down the stretch. Braylon Mullins, I would like to see him get some more shots, but, 2 of 5 from 3-point land. And obviously, we know what Caravan is. Caravan, he's been there through the 2023 championship, the 2024 championship. He was here last year, and he's here again now. He's the winningest player in UConn history. Is he a great player? No, but he's a very, very good player. A guy that you can rely on late in games to make a big shot. He had a big 3-pointer with about 2 minutes left yesterday to make it. I'll make a 1-point game, a 4-point game, which proved to be a big difference. And also Terrace Reed, big shout out to him, hitting 4 big free throws down the stretch to secure the win. As obviously UConn advancing to the Elite 8 over Michigan State. They're playing Duke tomorrow. Listen, that's going to be the marquee game. I picked UConn to win the championship. A little bit of a homer pick, I'm not going to lie, but I think this team is really good. Is it the team that it was in 2024? No. That 2024 team, I'll put up there with any team in the history of college basketball. I think that team was that good. Went 37-3 and absolutely dominated the NCAA tournament. I mean, there was no one could even match what they could do in the tournament. Castle, Tristan Newton, Klingon, Caravan was on that team, obviously. They were absolutely tremendous. Is this UConn team that UConn team? No. But they continue to find ways to win. And that's really what it comes down to in this tournament. You can have the most talented team, but the one thing that Hurley has with his team is they're so hard to play that first time. When you're just playing them one time, it's so hard to play. You see St. John's have success against them because St. John's has played them multiple times throughout the years in the Big East. They know what they kind of possess. These teams like Duke, this is going to be the first time that Duke plays UConn in I don't know how long. Michigan State, I know they played a preseason game this year, but Michigan State doesn't play UConn too much. And whoever UConn plays in the Final Four, if they make it, they're not used to playing those teams, and those teams aren't used to playing UConn either. And to me, that's a big advantage to UConn. Because I think what's going to come down to the game tomorrow is it's going to be Terrace Reed. He needs, as a big guy, is really the one big guy that UConn has, the one guy that Hurley really trusts. He's going to have to slow down the likes of Boozer and of Evans, who had a great game. He's going to have to slow them down. But also the coaching. Duke, a young coach. This is not Coach K anymore. Dan Hurley, two-time national champion head coach, looking to get his third in 4 years. They have the coaching advantage UConn does, and that's going to be pivotal in this game tomorrow. I think UConn's going to win. I just think Duke, there's a little bit. I just think they're a little flawed. They're a little flawed. They almost lost to Siena. Let's be honest with you. They almost lost to them. So that's going to be the big game tomorrow. No offense to Michigan. The Michigan game against Tennessee. That's going to be a good game, but it's going to be the marquee game of the whole weekend is Duke, UConn, and I can't wait to watch that. And listen, quickly on the women's side, UConn right now is just, to me, they're easily the best team. Like, it's not even close. They're 37-0. Yesterday I was watching the game they had against North Carolina, and they really didn't even play that well. I mean, seriously, they didn't even really play that well. I mean, they were trailing after the first quarter, and they ended up winning by 19 points. I mean, they're right now playing absolutely tremendous. Fudd didn't even have that good of a game. 4-12 shooting, but Sarah Strong, 21 points, 10 rebounds. Listen, this team they won that championship last year, and really for UConn women's basketball, they won the championship last year in 2025. That kind of, ended a long drought. I mean, before last year, the last championship they won was in 2016. That's a good 9 years. Under Gino Auriemma, that's not something that happens, that they don't win a championship for 9 years. They won it obviously last year. And right now, I think they're easily the best team. And wouldn't it be something? I have to say, wouldn't it be something for the men's and women's UConn basketball teams to win it in the same year? It's happened 2 other times, 2014, 2004. If it happens for a third time, I mean, right now UConn basketball as a whole is easily the best if you combine men's and women's. It's not even close. It's not even close. I mean, since 1999, the men's team has won it in 99, in 2004, 2011, 2014, 23, and 26. That's 6 championships. How many has the women's won? That's a very good question. Women's UConn basketball national championships. I'm going to guess about 13, 12. They won 12. So under Auriemma, they've won 12. The men's have won 6. So that's 18 combined. If they both win it this year, that's up to 20. I mean, that's as good as it gets. Especially for a small state. Let's be honest here. Stores, Connecticut. This isn't, UCLA. This isn't, Miami or something like that, a big time college. I mean, UConn's a big college, but it's different. It's not a big football school like Alabama or Ohio State or anything like that. This is a relatively, smaller school, and they're as good as it gets basketball wise. So again, I'm excited for the games tomorrow. Right now it's going to be. We know Illinois is going to be in the Final Four. Right now, for the Arizona and Purdue game, Purdue leads 38-31 with 27 seconds in the first half. So they're going to have a little bit of a lead going into the second half, see if they hold on. And obviously the 2 games tomorrow, that's going to be absolutely tremendous. Can't wait for those. And, again, next weekend, the big Final Four weekend. and we'll see who wins the national championships on the two respective sides. It's not every day we get to be a hero, so we're giving you 2 days to be a hero to 3 people all at one time. Announcing 1077 The Bronx annual Spring for Life blood drives Wednesday and Thursday, April 9th and 8th in the BLC Cavalo Room. Everyone who attempts to donate blood will get a pair of tickets to a Trenton Thunder game or passes to Sky Zone in Hamilton. At the end of the drive, 2 lucky Bronx will score a $100 Visa gift card for being our hero. To schedule your appointment to donate blood, go to our website at 1077thebronx.com/spring for life. We'll be back with more high stakes after these underwriting announcements. While you're waiting for the return of my show, follow The Bronx on Instagram at 1077thebronx and TikTok at 1077thebronx.com.
Ever wonder where 1077 The Bronx
Or Mi España's warm and crispy empanadas filled with their beef, chicken, or veggies. There is so much Spanish food to discover and devour at Mi España. If you're looking to dine out, eat in the Mi España located in the Princeton Shopping Center, 301 North Harrison Street, Princeton. Takeout and delivery are also available. To view their menu and to see Chef Jose Diaz's daily and weekly specials, surf on over to getforky.com.
If you build it, our Rider Bronx will devour it. Introducing the contest that will cement your legacy at Rider University forever. Announcing 107.7 The Bronx first ever Build the Ultimate Bronc Wish competition. Be the Bronc who creates the Rider's signature new sandwich to be served at Muller's Pub and on the You Cuz Yellow Food Trailer, and we'll send you and a guest on a Royal Caribbean for 2 to the Bahamas. From Josh Harry Travel, of course. However you slice it, this contest eats Bronx. Go to 1077thebronx.com/build-a-bronc-wish for details and how you can enter to win. Welcome back to High Stakes under Princeton Review's 18th ranked best college radio station, 1077 The Bronx. All right, got about 6 to 7 minutes left of the show. Let's talk a little bit of some NBA here. You know, I have to say something real quick. How does Luka Doncic, who has averaged 40 from the past 10 games, actually now 11 now, they're 10-1, and somehow he goes down in the MVP rankings. He was second a couple weeks ago. He puts together that level of basketball, and somehow they put him down to 4th. I love Jokic, but how is Jokic over him? They are a 500 basketball team since Jokic has come back from his leg injury in January. How is he over Doncic? And Wemby, I like Wemby, but I don't think he's over Doncic. I mean, if you have Gilgeous-Alexander over Doncic, fine. I mean, not totally agree with it, but fine. How is he 4th? That makes no sense. Somehow he plays his best basketball of the season, and he goes down in the MVP rankings. That makes absolutely no sense whatsoever, and really just, you know, kind of invalidates the whole award, to be honest with you. But whatever. That's just a quick note there. But let's get to some NBA here. You know, we're close to the end of the season. I mean, most teams have 7 to 8 games left in the regular season. So, you know, you're getting ready for the playoffs. I mean, it's, you know, the play-in tournament and all that. You know, let's take it from the Knicks side, because, you know, the 76ers, listen, they're a good team. They're a team that I think could do something in the East if they get a good matchup. But right now they're 7th, and they would have to play Boston or Detroit in the first round. Now, Detroit could be interesting because we don't know if Cunningham is going to come back in time for that first round series. But if they play Boston, I think they have no chance to win, to be honest with you. I mean, I like the Embiid. He's starting to play a little better. Maxey, we know. And even Paul George, even at this level in his career, could be dangerous. I just don't think they have the horses to go deep. But I think they can you know, offer up a little bit of a scare to a team like a young team like Detroit in the first round. The Knicks, right now, 48-26, have been playing some good basketball as of late, even though they lost their last game. You know, bottom line on the Knicks, it's all going to come down to what happens in the playoffs. Like, honestly, the remaining, you know, I think they got 8 games to go. You know, it's not really going to tell me anything. You know, right now they would be playing the Hawks in the first round, and now the Hawks are playing really well as of late. But I think the Knicks would take them in the first round, and then they would have to play Boston, most likely in the second round. And now the Knicks did beat Boston last year, but will that happen again? I don't know. Is this big pressure on Mike Brown? You know, they got rid of Thibodeau because they felt that they couldn't get to their ultimate destination with him as a head coach. We'll see if they're right. And if they're not right, you're going to be under a lot of criticism. Karl Anthony Towns, we don't have to go into it. I mean, we know the pressure that he's under. And we know about Mikal Bridges. I mean, he's taken a lot of heat recently, and he's outplayed well. And they gave away 5 first-round picks to get him. I don't know. Not looking too good right now. But at the end of the day, he's not playing well right now. But if he plays well in the playoffs, everyone's going to forget about it. Everyone's going to forget about this bad stretch here. And it all comes down to what the Knicks are going to do in the playoffs. They need to get to the NBA Finals. If they don't get to the NBA Finals, it's a failure. Because Tom Thibodeau brought them to the Eastern Conference Finals. So there's no losing in round 2. There's no losing in the Eastern Conference Finals. You got to at least get to the NBA Finals. And I don't know if they're good enough to do it. Final 2 minutes that we have. I just want to say this. A little bit of a proposal. And I'm going to make the show's on YouTube now, so I can come back to this. If the Knicks lose in the first round or second round or even the Eastern Conference Finals, people are going to say that they need to change this team. And I got the perfect player that you can bring in, and that's Kawhi Leonard. I know all the problems that he has. Oh, the load management. He's injury prone. I get it. But man, when he plays, I still believe he's a top 5 player in basketball when he plays. And he's playing right now. He's averaging 28 a game for a good Clippers team. And a Clipper team that's going to be some trouble in the first round to either OKC or San Antonio. If you get Leonard in here, and we don't even need him to play a whole lot in the regular season, be ready for the postseason. I think that's going to give them a better chance to win a championship than having Bridges and Towns on this roster right now. But we're a couple weeks away from that. But I'm telling you, it's going to be on YouTube. Trust me, if the Knicks don't make it far, conversations like that is going to come back. I'm going to say, hey, I first guessed it. I was on High Stakes on March 28th at 9:59, and I said that Kawhi Leonard should be a Knick if they don't go far in the playoffs. But again, hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully they go to the NBA Finals. But I have some doubts that they will right now. So we'll see. We'll talk a lot of NBA as we get to the playoffs and all that. And yeah. So thank you for listening to High Stakes. We'll be back next Saturday, 9 to 10 p.m. Stay tuned for more of the biggest hits and best variety on the Princeton Review's 18th-ranked best college radio station, 3-time 2026 IBS Media Award winner, and 5-time NAB Marconi Radio Award nominee for College Radio Station of the Year, 1077 The Bronx and 1077thebronx.com.
1077 The Bronx, WRRC-FM, Lawrenceville, New Jersey implores you to run to your kitchen and grab your panini press.